One is the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, this individual, is a conscious liar, faking, impersonating, pretending to be a prophet, or he's delusional, sincerely thinks he's a prophet.
Okay.
Do you see the options?
But he could have had an experience. There's thousands of millions of people hear voices around their head. It's a normal medical condition that people have.
That means what? He sincerely thinks he's a prophet.
He sincerely thinks he's a prophet.
That's what I mean.
Yeah.
So he's deluded. In your estimation, he's deluded.
Yeah.
We can go through each one. If we were to analyze each one, and you will see that our excuses will fall short in saying he is like that. To give you the opposite camp, because there are some people who say he's impersonating, he's a fake individual. Look,
how did his cousin, was it Warwick?
Okay, Warwick ibn Nawfal.
How did he know
Sure.
that it was Jebril that spoke to him?
Fine,
He
fine.
wasn't there.
So let's deal with that
He didn't
first.
experience it.
So when he went to his wife, Khadija radiallahu anha, the Khadija radiallahu anha said, look, I know you are not a bad person. You are charitable, you're truthful, you look after the orphans and so on. So all the things she's saying are positive. You would not be visited by a demon or anything like that. It must be something, a good thing that's coming to you, who's coming with you with something good. I know someone who's my cousin. Go and ask him what his understanding is. So this is, no, Stephen, as you realize so far, this is an understanding of a person who's not impersonating on fake. It shows like he's sincerely believing what it is.
So God.
No, I have not answered your question yet.
Him, yeah?
Stephen, I have not answered your question yet. Relax.
Other cousin now. So
Relax.
he's going to three
No.
people.
Khadija is his wife.
Yeah.
Khadija is his wife.
Yeah.
He knows the angels talk to him, that the angel says, I am the angel. He doesn't disbelieve in him. He's afraid. He says, wrap me up. Cover me up with a blanket. Cover me up, so cold, because this. What's happened to him is, it's like, imagine that if I give you an electric shock, you will feel differently. The Quran that descended on him, the experience that he went through is totally phenomenally different from all his experience for the 40 years of his life. So now he is really shaking, he's feeling shivering. This is how our historical report narrates. He says, cover me up, cover me up. So then, as he describes to his wife says, I know someone who might know something, because there seems to be a connection about this. Seems to be someone who
Maybe it's a kind of neurophysiological reaction.
No. From what the Prophet described, she linked, like, firstly, she acknowledged that he's a righteous person, good person. So it's not a satanic, what they believed in, like a Satan impersonating or influencing him or overtaking him. What are they called? Someone comes in you, possessed. It's not like that. And she even said, okay, let me see what. Is the angel is here? She says, yeah. Okay, fine. She, uncovered part of a leg, a clothes. He disappeared. If he was Satan wouldn't disappear, because Satan is the source of all evil and encouraging people to do all the evil things, sexuality and pornography, whatever.
An angel disappeared.
When she said, okay, fine, let me just uncover a little bit of my clothes here. The angel disappeared at that point. Yeah. But he said, look, the angel was still coming. He says, is he still there? He's not there. No.
Nobody could see the angel. But how did you know the angel disappeared?
No. The Prophet said he's no longer there. The Prophet is seeing the angel. The angel can be visible in his original form, or he can be invisible. He can choose.
No, there's no way to verify this. It's just speculation.
No. Stephen, look. We are trying to understand the phenomena. Let me help you with it first, which is called a psychological understanding of the reality. Then we'll talk about the scientific understanding of the reality, historical understanding of the reality, and then we merge all of them and say, where lies the truth? I am doing a psychological analysis now. Firstly, the way our historical report says, she did this, and the angel disappeared. The Prophet said, and she is being more and more convinced that this is not some evil spirit, because evil spirits will remain.
You said a historical report said this.
Our historical reports.
What historical reports? So
No, our biographical reports.
Who was there to witness this?
Look. You're bringing in other things where then I have to address that and address. Let's stick to one thing.
He was there with his wife. Him and his wife. He had an experience.
Listen. Firstly, do you accept the possibility that all these events could be narrated by the Prophet and then recorded by his companions for the posterity? Is there a possibility?
Yes.
Good. So we are saying, just take that for now. By actual historical scrutiny of whether these records existed or not.
It's recorded after the events.
No, look,
Like years after the events.
I am saying for now, to make things simpler, to deal one account at a time, let's not question the historicity of these reports, because that will then derail our conversation to historical investigation.
That's what I'm here for, mate.
No. You can't answer every single tangent. You have to focus in one, and anything questions like this we can deal as it's appropriate. Right? Good, Stephen.
I just say more things, I get more questions.
No, but hold on to these questions. Remind ourselves, it's an important question. So she took her to Waraqa bin Nawfal. Waraqa bin Nawfal was a Christian, okay? And he was blind, as far as I recall. But doesn't matter. When he heard the story, he worked out, he said, I know, sounds like a namus, the spirit, like they believe in spirits, Holy Spirit, for example, that brings in revelation. And it says this, I wish I can live to see you today when you become prophets and when you convey the messages and so on. So he didn't live that long, okay? So that was a whole historical encounter. That is the first encounter of the Prophet ﷺ to receive revelation. Then over a period of 23 years, the same angel visited him again and again, and every year he came in the month of Ramadan to revise how much of the Quran has been learnt and so on, right?
But you see the question I'm asking though?
No, wait, Stephen, we will address all of that. This is what the claim is, it's Jebril. Now, you and I don't have access to the Jebril now, we can't see him, we can't verify him. You are distant from the event. So you need to have a tool which is testable to say whether it's Jebril or not. If you can give me that tool, I will apply it and tell you. In the absence of that, let's deal with the Prophet's, his motives. Is he faking to be a prophet, or is he sincerely? You said sincerely. But I want to, just for the sake of comprehensiveness on this matter, there are many people who think he's an imposter. If he was an imposter, people must have a motive. Why are they pretending to be a prophet? Either is a motive of own selfish motive to be rich, to be wealthy, to be a leader, to be a king, to be the one who has all the benefits and so on. Many things, material gain and desires. It could be a motive. But guess what? Every single one of these can be discounted. Look, they even once said, the polytheists of Mecca, when he started calling people to Islam and to reject the idols, they said, look, what are you after? Do you want money? We will make you the richest person of us. Wait, Stephen.
He could have maybe they want money, they want material things, anything like that. He was a great guy, yeah? He had an experience.
What was his motive?
He didn't have any motive. He actually believed in what he was
That's
doing.
your position.
He believed that he was a prophet.
Good.
From what
I understand that. But I'm not dealing with your position yet. I'm simply for the benefit for everyone to know that those people who think he's not sincere, and then the motives that he wants to be rich and wealthy and famous and womanizer, whatever, they even asked once, do you want money? We'll make you the richest. Do you want to be our leader? We'll make you the king. Do you want woman? Just name them. You can have all of them. He declined all of them. That means...
Well, he had 11 wives.
No. This is something later on that people came to him, offered them to become his wife, widows, with orphans. Old women who are divorced or widowed, and they're saying, and they have no one to look after.
Well, most cult leaders nowadays have a lot of wives,
No, you're mixing up. We'll talk about his multiple marriages, and you will agree with me that these were not marriages of convenience. These were marriage to make sure that people are looked after, people are brought together as communities, and so on and so forth. Because his first wife, he married her, who was 15 years older than him, and they lived the whole life in this marriage, monogamous marriage, until she passed away. Someone older than him, living all her and his life in marriage. This is a direct refutation of this accusation that he was a.
What camera is that for?
Yeah, a direct refutation of people who think is someone who's interested in children. I'm not going to even use this word. Someone, sexually interested in children. You can clearly see that it doesn't follow. Even in any works of psychology, psychiatrists, if you go there, they will tell you that is not a sign of those kind of individuals who are lusting and always interested in sexual relationship with the children. The Prophet's life.
Well, he did have sex with a 9-year-old.
I am talking about a trait of people who are only interested in sexually in children, prepubescent children. There are a group of people called with a P word. I don't want to use this word. There's no point. I'm saying that. His life refutes this kind of belief. Okay, so it was not a material gain that he wanted to be nothing. Maybe some kind of thing. Oh, he wanted to unite the Arabs. That's why. None of your concern, by the way. It's for those people. I'll make it short and I'll come to yours. And he was saying, Allah has chosen Maryam above all the women of the world. What would the Arabs say? How are you uniting the Arabs? You're calling a Jewish woman the best woman of the world. That's not showing how he's trying to unite, it will disunite it. So it wasn't trying to unite the Arabs for some kind of unity he's claiming to a prophet. So I will leave there for now. I've given you.
I'll ask you one question before you talk about it. Yeah? Have you got any doubts at all in what you're saying is true?
No.
None?
None.
Don't you think that's a bit kind of like
no.
worrying? Because then you're close.
Do you doubt you exist?
Do I doubt I exist? Or they say I think, therefore I am.
No. Do you doubt?
I don't doubt I am.
Not even a little bit.
Oh, I exist. I'm here now.
Not even a little bit.
I'm here now.
Good.
They say I could be a
so now, as you realize, there are certain things we can be pretty much confident in what we believe.
Exactly. Yeah.
Your existence, you're pretty much 100% convinced with no room for any doubts.
Yeah.
Likewise, Islam has given us this avenue in which our conviction can be so firmly grounded. So we talked about how Prophet can not be an imposter or a fake individual because there's no motives that you can, describe. Maybe, as you said, possibility, he can be sincerely deceived in thinking that there is a creator of the universe who has sent an angel who spoke to him and so on and so forth, right? Now, let's address that.
Well, can I tell you the doubts I have?
Yeah, go ahead.
So, apparently, you believe in Big Bang and stuff like that, yeah?
Big Bang is just a model of a universe.
Well, the time scales. God created the universe about 13.8 billion years ago, yeah? And then 9 billion...
Our universe that we know of, according to scientific understanding, is 16.8 or 13 point something, 8 billion years, yes, correct. Yeah, around that.
9 billion years later, he creates the Earth, yeah? So the Earth is about 4.5 billion years old, yeah? And then he waited another 4.5 billion years, to about 200,000 years ago, to create human beings.
Okay.
Yeah. He maybe gave 1/8 the ability to talk and communicate, yeah? Okay. And their consciousness and learn language and stuff like that. And then you wait another 190,000 years. 1,400 years ago, he gave his message to mankind to a man who can't read and write in a cave. He didn't even know who it was that gave the message. He had to ask a Christian.
No, he knew.
He just said the Christian worker said
no. The Christian confirmed that don't worry, don't be afraid. Yeah. We already know how our Creator sends revelation to individuals through this kind of media.
But 1,400 years ago, he gave it to one man in a cave. Yeah? One man.
Yeah.
And his job is to go and teach it to the whole of the world. Yeah. And that sounds rational to you. That sounds.
Yeah, I'll tell you why it sounds rational. There's various ways of our Creator can communicate to individuals. He can communicate to you directly.
To one man.
No. I'm just giving you the mechanism.
This is the age of communication. You can talk to anybody on all these cameras.
Stephen.
You can talk to anybody. Everybody can hear
the Creator of the heavens and the earth can communicate to you. Are you listening?
Yes.
The Creator of the heavens and the earth can communicate to every individual directly. That's one way of doing it. He can communicate to people behind the veil without a direct intervention. He can communicate to people in their dreams. He can inspire them otherwise. He can talk to them directly. There are various forms the Creator can communicate because we believe we are communicating, we are able to, understand and make sense of what we say. So our Creator, to him belongs the highest description. It is not reason. It is not unreasonable in any way, shape, or form to think our Creator can communicate. Yeah, not unreasonable. So, the medium of communication. Why were we created is the first question we need to ask. Did our Creator create us for a purpose? And what is the purpose? Because that then determines in what form He's going to communicate to us. Does He want for us all to be forced to believe in Him? Or does He want us to appreciate with our particular makeup of human reasoning, the intellect?
Does He want us all to be convinced, 100% like
wait. Stephen, let's try to understand something. Does our Creator want us to be forced to know that He exists and believe in Him? Because would that make sense? Imagine now, I put a gun on your head and say, believe that I'm your master. There is no choice involved because you're going to die, right? Do you have a choice? I say, look, you have a choice. There is no choice.
But that's exactly what God does to us. Believe I'm your God, or I'm going to burn you in hell.
No.
Christians say that. Muslims say that.
The Creator has said, look, I am the owner of you. I made you, I created you, I gave you life. But I want you to do these things because you are mine. You're my creation, whether you like it or not. I mean, if you don't want, for example, I can say, for example, you don't believe in gods. Okay, stop breathing the air of God. Stop drinking the water of God. Drink your own water, make your own water, make your own air. But you won't be able to, because all that's provided is what we're saying is Creator. So because we are already dependent on the Creator, our role is only to say, okay, fine, this is the reason, let me try to fulfill the reason or not.
You're a Muslim, yeah?
Yes.
Right now in Israel, they're bombing Palestine, yeah? They're equally convinced that land is theirs by God, 100%. That God gave them that land. The Palestinians 100% that God gave them this land, you know? How are you gonna, you have to have some kind of room for kind of like doubt, you know? Just say, maybe that God didn't give us this land. Maybe we can share it, you know? Maybe we can come together as our human beings and not kill each other over this.
What you're describing is when there's a conflict of ideas, it means that thing that their idea about is non-existent. It doesn't follow logically. Look, let's say we are disputing. Are we in London or are we in Melbourne? Are we in Dhaka? Are we in Nepal? Imagine we're all disputing. Does it mean we're not? No.
That shows you get it.
No.
Maybe that thing that we're all disputing.
No. Listen. Does that mean we are not in London?
We're in London now, yes.
Good. So our dispute where we are is irrelevant to the fact of a reality is where we are. People can have mistaken understanding of where we are. Some people will say, I'm in New York. But that will be mistaken understanding. What we say is, as you said earlier, which is not correct, God did not just simply give a revelation to this one man in a cave, and that's the earliest form of communication from God. No, He was the last of all the messengers. There were hundreds and thousands of prophets and messengers that were sent before Him to all nations and communities, telling them what is required of them. The same message.
What message was given to the Mayans and the Aztecs, who at the same time was cutting out people's hearts?
What we are saying is,
and the North American Indians.
Look. If you were to holistically study the world religion, there are certain things that will be the common factor that out of all of it. They believe in something supernatural. Something Almighty has the power to answer your prayers. Yep. They believe in someone who gave life, originated this universe. These things are the common denominator of all religions.
No, Buddhists don't believe in that. Scientologists don't believe.
Scientology, you're talking about modern day belief. Buddhism originally was from Hinduism, in which there are creators. What they didn't like in Hinduism is what they then came away from it and they formed this belief. Sikhism likewise, they didn't like the Hindus, they didn't like the Muslims when they were ruling India and so on and so forth, make their own religion. We need to differentiate between what people claim to be the original religions, which people believe, and which are reactionary religion. Scientism is a reactionary religion.
Well, the original religion, for instance, ancient Egyptian religions went for about 5,000 years.
Yeah. What did they believe? What did they believe? You can find the remnants of the belief. They believed in
The sun gods, and the different
Why do
stars.
they believe in God in the first place? You see, the idea of a God, that someone is powerful than you, who gives life, takes away life, who does the judgment, who has a measurement in the scale, your deeds. The well-known belief in the Egyptians.
We believed in stuff that we didn't understand.
Right. No. What I'm saying is, these belief systems were there. So a historian of a religious historian will say, look, it seems like ultimately this was so proliferant. This proliferation of belief system with a shared belief tells you with a confirmation that yes, people had belief system. Either they made it by their own thinking or it was already given to them. So we believe as Muslims, prophets and messengers were sent, warners were sent. People later on, they then forgot this message or distorted this message. A community may then be given another prophet to bring back.
You said thousands of prophets were sent, yeah?
Yes, to all nations.
What are these thousands of prophets that were sent? Because all you mentioned is the prophets like Moses and ancient Christian or Jewish prophets,
Yeah.
You don't mention any prophets that were in Australia, the Aborigines. What prophets said to the Aborigines? What was said to the North American
Quran answers your question. It tells you that these are the prophets Quran mentions. It says some prophets I have not mentioned, others I have not mentioned. Okay, some prophets I have favored, spoken to them directly, given them proofs and miracles, others not. So God is not describing the history of humanity and every single prophet. He's giving you the Quran as the final guidance in which it tells you, I have sent prophets. God says clearly like this. He does not. No. He does not. Look, it is historically proven that people believed in this kind of many things about the world.
animistic beliefs, like
Yeah.
believed in the wind god and the sun
Yeah.
god and the air god,
That's the distortion of the truth.
and the river god.
That's the distortion of the truth. To give you an example
Those
of
are the earliest religions. They kind of evolved to the more monotheistic religions that we have now.
initially was monotheism, and then they became polytheistic belief system. Okay, the idea once people had a few hundred years ago that initially everyone was polytheistic in nature, and as people more and more realized these are the forces of nature, and then they became more and more like monotheistic. Right? False historically. Monotheism was first, and then from out of it, people's distortion, satanic influence, and various others made people believe associating partners with God polytheistic. Christianity is a crime.
You're making more claims there, satanic influence. I mean, I personally believe that people had, living in the world, we didn't understand a lot of things like nature, and a hurricane comes, an earthquake shakes. There's no way of comprehending what's going on, so you kind of make up a kind of like, we need to understand. It's very, very uncomfortable to not understand things. So to understand things gives you comfort. Especially if you've got a king who's ruling a nation and you're having a famine and he can't control it because he's not in control of nature. So you make up a king which is bigger than him, a higher power that controls everything.
The difference between what's been transmitted like this, as you call a distortion of the truth, and when the prophets were there at that time, when the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, our Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, when he did many miraculous things, it wasn't evident against the people that this man is not just an ordinary man.
What miraculous things did he do?
Split the moon.
He split the moon.
Yeah.
Yeah, I heard of that, yeah. So
The people who witnessed that.
there should be evidence of the moon.
No, not necessarily.
No?
Are you saying God is incapable of putting it back together without any remaining marks?
I'm saying that other countries around the world, like the Chinese.
Are you saying God is incapable of making it only a local event so other people? Okay. How much time has passed since we were discussing? Roughly half an hour?
Half an hour.
Half an hour. How many times did you see the moon? What happened to it in that discussion?
I haven't seen the moon.
You haven't seen it. Anyone else? Right. You can't expect.
Other parts of the world, it's nighttime now.
No.
The moon is out, and they would have seen it split.
Still. Even if we had that discussion at night time, the probability that you'd be looking at the moon, always the moon, is very less. People don't actively look at the moon. Is it being split or not? Right? So what? So no. What we're saying is, who says it's not a local event? God is only providing a miracle. Look, what happened is, I am saying at that time, the people who witnessed it, what was their response?
Come on, you're an intelligent person. You know it didn't happen. You must know it didn't happen. Come on.
Look.
Something that's a claim, yeah?
Your mother did not give birth because I haven't seen it. To you. You were never born,
I'm
Stephen.
here, you can see me.
No, Stephen, I've never seen you being born, so you were not born. You were just like that. You see that? We can't do this kind of, verification purposes. I wasn't there.
Extraordinary
You wasn't there.
require extraordinary evidence.
And that's why the people at that time, to them, was an extraordinary evidence, because they could see it by themselves.
Only the people
That's why, if you ask me for proof for the Quran's divine origin, I'm going to give you moon splitting, because you and I cannot verify it.
Right, let's say.
But what I would give rather, Stephen, something that we can test. So that's why, as Muslims, when they give you testable things, they will give you something that you can look at yourself and verify it. That's why I mentioned about falsification test.
I'll ask you about the moon splitting, because there's no extra.
You can't prove or disprove it.
Quranic evidence of the moon splitting.
Doesn't have to.
Yeah, one man went into a cave, spoke to the angel.
Doesn't have to.
And the angel said
Stephen,
someone wrote it down.
you don't need any extra Quranic evidence. This
So why
proof,
should I believe it? There's no evidence.
you don't have to.
Alright.
This evidence was evidence for the people at that time.
And you don't have to
Not,
either.
look. This is not an evidence to you. It was evidence to the people at that time. It was a hujjah, we say, evidence against them. But now, when the Quran provides falsification test, I gave you one. A book from God should be free from mistakes and contradictions.
I'll give you another mistake.
What mistake did you give me? Firstly?
give one,
Hang on, you said another. What was the first one?
No, it's just the fact that he went in there and did this, and he didn't know who it was.
That's not a mistake about the Quran, I mean, in any way, shape or form.
I do wonder, but
Yeah.
God says that all living things are made from water.
Yeah.